Here's your news for August 15th, 2020. And your headlines for today include: three-time WWE Champion returning to Raw. Reason for the return revealed. WWE intelligently takes a jab at Tony Khan during Smackdown Live. Huge match announced for Smackdown Live next week. Asuka is now in 2 title matches at WWE SummerSlam. First match announced for WWE Payback. Randy Orton picks up an AEW star, trades shots over Instagram. WWE is in serious trouble, cancels Smackdown tapings this week. Reason for recent AEW releases revealed. Status of Excalibur revealed. Conflicting reports on validity of recently released AEW Dynamite spoilers. WWE releases a statement on Rey Mysterio, and more. We are kicking off today with news from NXT, as this week's show saw Velveteen Dream return to the Gold brand. According to Fightful Select, the return of the former North American champion was a closely guarded secret backstage, as most NXT superstars only knew minutes before the show started. Not only is there heat for Dream's reported inappropriate actions with minors, but the former Tough Enough star is receiving significant heat for what's being perceived as, quote, preferential treatment in multiple situations. It seems that many people backstage believe that someone other than Dream would have been fired after these claims and the evidence given, and whilst there's been no details about any disciplinary action by WWE, it seems the story behind the scenes is far more interesting than the superstar's actions in the ring. One person who isn't happy to see Dream back is Josh Fuller, one of his accusers, who took to Twitter to describe how he's feeling. Back in June, Dream faced claims of inappropriate conduct with minors, with some people receiving explicit photos of the superstar. And though Dream admitted that the picture was him, he'd claimed to have been hacked. Fuller said how he feels he can't say everything he wants to out of fears of it damaging his own budding wrestling career, and added, "The only things really pissing me off from social media are the people claiming that it was clearly investigated when there's no proof or statement that it was ever the case. Myself or anyone else involved weren't contacted by anybody to my knowledge. And also, the people trying to make this like an AEW versus NXT thing look real dumb, LMAO. Miss me with that shit. Bad stuff is still bad. Stop comparing situations to each other." Fuller also added that it was ridiculous of some fans to think that he was only claiming for clout, as he pointed out that he's nothing to gain and everything to lose from making any kind of claim against the NXT superstar. Though Dream has denied all claims of wrongdoing, those making the claims did receive explicit photos of him, as well as an audio message that sounds like the NXT superstar asking what school they went to, as it seems this story is far from over despite his return. Over to Raw now, and this week's show will see the return of Shawn Michaels. The former WWE champion will return to the Red brand to confront Randy Orton following the Viper's attack on Ric Flair last week, which culminated in a punt to the Hall of Famer's skull. It's also been teased that Rey Mysterio may return to avenge his son Dominic, who was beat down by Seth Rollins this week, ahead of Dominic's debut match against the Monday Night Messiah at SummerSlam. It's entirely possible that next week's Raw could be the final episode to take place in the Performance Center, and if so, the WWE is certainly leaving their training ground with a stacked 3-hour show. From Raw to SmackDown next, as this week's show saw a TNA reunion, as AJ Styles shared the ring with Joseph Park, the alter ego of Abyss. Whilst this was a big news story in itself, it's what Styles and Park did in the ring that got fans talking, as many accused the two of making fun of AEW. During their segment, Styles brought up a whole ranking system, which seems pretty similar to the ranking system AEW has for its roster, and it seemed that Park was portraying a parody of Tony Khan. This segment wasn't without its flaws though, as Jeff Hardy used a marker handpicked by Park that turned out to be permanent, and on Twitter, Park apologized to Styles for what's being described as Markergate. This segment culminated in Hardy positioning himself as the #1 contender for Styles' title, and this championship match will take place on next week's edition of Smackdown, which will reportedly air from Orlando's Amway Center. It's no secret that AEW have taken multiple shots at WWE since they started, including Cody destroying a Triple H-esque throne and Brody Lee's entire character being a parody of Vince McMahon. And given that next week's Dynamite won't be on Wednesday, fans will have to wait to see what the company says about this alleged parody. We've got more news from Smackdown next, as this week's show saw a triple brand battle royal to determine Bayley's next challenger, with an unusual winner. With women from all three brands competing, it was ultimately Raw's Asuka who reigned supreme, which means that she'll challenge Bayley for her title at the pay-per-view, as well as Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship on the same night. Unsurprisingly, the Golden Role Models weren't pleased with this result, and things didn't get any better when they were told they would be defending their women's tag team titles at Payback. We weren't told who will be challenging for the gold at the August 30th pay-per-view, but between this match and the Asuka SummerSlam matches, it's possible that the Golden Role Models could lose all 4 championship belts in the coming weeks. One person who will be at SummerSlam is Randy Orton, as he'll compete against WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, but this week, the Viper picked a different opponent. When Matt Jackson shared a clip of the Elite's match with the Dark Order this week, saying he stuck a perfect landing, Randy agreed, though said Jackson didn't hit anyone. Orton also asked Jackson to say hi to some of the many former WWE superstars in AEW and use their former names, referring to stars like Goldust, Luke Harper, Zack Ryder, Jack Swagger, and Dean Ambrose. Jackson fired back, asking whether he could use this exchange for their 50-plus segment on being the Elite, a running joke that AEW hasn't been too popular with the 50-plus age group, something that the young company seemingly isn't too worried about. This was an interesting, albeit brief exchange between the two, and although it's practically guaranteed we'll never see Orton and Matt meet in the ring, this made for some entertaining drama online. Back to Smackdown now, as last week the company only taped one of its 2 planned shows, and now we know why. Though it was originally believed that changing plans were to blame, during PW Insider Elite Audio, Mike Johnson explained that positive tests caused the change, saying, "They were supposed to tape 2 Smackdown episodes last week, and I've been told by 3 different sources that the second Smackdown taping got cancelled at the last second because they had more positives. If people don't show up and they're not on the show again this week, they might have gone to Epcot for a little vacation." Sadly, this is a risk that WWE will continue to take, and given that they'll soon be running live shows from the Amway Center, things may be getting worse for WWE's cases before they get better. Over to AEW now, and this week saw Jimmy Havoc, Bea Priestley, and Sadie Gibbs all let go, and now more details have come to light. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that the claims of indecent behavior at Havoc were a factor in his release, though Priestley and Gibbs were let go because they can't make it to the US. Gibbs in particular has only had 3 AEW matches and none since October of last year, and whilst it's not their fault they can't make it to shows, as PAC is also stuck in the UK for the time being, the company clearly felt these cuts were necessary. Speaking of AEW stars, Excalibur hasn't been seen on Dynamite since old promos where he used the N-word surfaced, and the company has been radio silent on his status. Now though, the Observer newsletter is noting that Excalibur is set to return on the August 26th episode of Dynamite, and we'll have to see if AEW makes any reference to his absence and what kind of reception he'll receive. We've got huge news next from All Elite Wrestling, as another former WWE superstar is reportedly set to debut on this week's show, which has already been taped. While this reported debut obviously can't be confirmed yet, we'd recommend skipping the next 30 to 45 seconds of this video to avoid spoilers. According to Reddit user Weird Warthog, Eric Rowan will be on next week's show, and will be joining under his real name Joseph Rudd to help Brody Lee win the TNT title in what's being described as an overbooked but entertaining match, whilst Thunder Rosa will also reportedly be debuting. Whilst this seems like huge news, reports have since come out that these leaked spoilers aren't legit, with Dave Meltzer and Ryan Satin pointing out inconsistencies. There's no shortage of stories floating around the internet wrestling community, and although Reddit users have come out with some legit AEW spoilers, we'll have to wait until next week's show to see if these debuts happen and if a new champion is crowned. Moving on to WWE, as the company is reportedly planning on using Orlando's Amway Center for future shows with some very unique additions. It's now being reported by PW Insider that the company is considering the use of virtual fans for SummerSlam, which is rumored to be taking place at Amway, as this is something that Fox has done for recent MLB broadcasts. These virtual fans will appear at live events via LED boards, and this interactive experience will reportedly be hosted by WWE superstars and legends. This news comes after reports that the company plans to not only use the Amway Center for SummerSlam, but also for live events, including Raw and Smackdown. With over 2,500 square foot of LED boards in the Amway Center, the company will certainly have plenty of room to put fans who can't be there physically. But with SummerSlam set to take place next Sunday, the company will have to make an announcement about the pay-per-view very soon. And finally, we're ending today with news about Rey Mysterio. WWE is teasing the TV return of Rey Mysterio based on the rumors that are reportedly running rampant. The company released an article on WWE.com in which they provided an update on Rey Mysterio's status, while also hinting at his return. The article did, however, note that the report of Rey Mysterio's return is unconfirmed at this point. That being said, with Dominic Mysterio in WWE now, it only makes sense that Rey will sign with WWE and come to the aid of Dominic storyline-wise too.